Here we go. No turning back now.
You failed your first 100 miler. You DNF'd. Why do it again?
Because if there's no chance of failure, what's the point of even doing it?
We have Memphis's first 100 miler, the Mamba 100. In Memphis, there are a lot of local races, different running groups. Those are all great, but I wanted something different. I wanted to bring people to Memphis. I wanted to bring to Memphis an ultra race, and that's what the Mamba 100 is. We have 38 states coming to the Mamba 100 this year. We have 450 runners, and it's just amazing to see so many runners come from all over the country to Memphis. Not only do they see our beautiful trails at Shelby Farms Park, but they get to experience Memphis. So the 100-mile distance, it's not for everybody, but it can be for everybody if you put in the work and you train for it. You have to train for it. I would recommend at least 6 months training, sometimes longer than that, but you need at least 6 really good months of hard training to even prepare for a 100-miler. Not only that, but you need to practice night running, because 100 miles is going to go into the night, and if you've never ran a night run, you're going to be in trouble. So Hunter's a great guy. He's actually a perfect candidate for what we want at the Mamba 100. I have got to know him and seen him kind of grow into this whole 100-mile distance. It almost brings tears to my eyes, because I know the guy is trying so hard to meet personal goals. I see a lot of me in him when I started running, just his mentality and what he wants to do. I'm telling you, when he crosses that finish line and I hand him that buckle, I'm gonna be tearing up as well, because I know how much this is gonna mean to him, and I know what he's gonna experience and what he's gonna go through. I've seen him run these smaller races, and not only that, but I've seen him out training 20-25 mile runs on the trails. And I know where he's going to, and I know where his heart is, and he's pouring his whole entire life into this race. That is the fun part of doing this job, is I get to see other people pour their whole heart into what they're trying to accomplish, and that alone makes this job as a race director worth more than anything.
This mile is about to be so hard.
Still fast. Nope, you're good. Stay right there. Pick it up a little bit. You're about 5 seconds off there.
How you feel going into the 100?
Feeling pretty good, confident. Training has gone a lot better this time around. I didn't really tell anybody leading up to the last race, but 6 weeks out, I got a respiratory infection. That cost me 4 weeks of running, a few runs I attempted back since having the respiratory tract infection. Every time my heart rate would come up, I would be like fetal position coughing. I remember my first long run back. This was like 2 weeks out from the race at this point. 16-mile training run, which at this point was like a taper run, so way less than I was used to. 8 miles into the 16, and my calf just felt like it turned to nothing. So eventually I just couldn't walk at all, and I was like, I don't know what is happening. And so then I got back home, and I had told Courtney, I was like, this is not good. I could not run, and it was a 16-mile run. I'm supposed to run 100 in 2 weeks after not running for a month at the peak of training. And I didn't say this leading up to the run. I just had thought it to myself, but I thought that showing up to the 100 and expecting to finish the first time was a little bit silly, because I just assumed, I was like, this is going to take 100% prep and commitment to get to 100 miles. I feel kind of goofy missing 6 weeks of training, showing up to this race like, yeah, I'm gonna finish 100 miles. But also felt goofy thinking about the race starting and me laying at home in bed after this year of prep, telling all these people that I'm gonna run 100 miles. All these people saying like, oh, I know you're gonna do it. You're gonna do so well. You're gonna crush it. Dude, I'm in bed. Anyway, I didn't feel comfortable doing that. In fact, I messaged James a week before the race and was like, hey, I might not make it to the race, but it's not because I don't appreciate everything you did to put this race on. Because he was posting like out there cleaning the trails every single day. In the middle of the night, he's out there flagging the trails. And so I didn't want him to like the day after the race be going through results and then see like Hunter Nolen did not start. And so that didn't sit right with me either. I had to try. Actually went way better than I expected it to go considering the nightmare of prep that I had. And so I dropped out at 58. I sat in the chair in the crewing station for like 2 hours. Like if I couldn't get up and run like really well at that point, making the cutoff was gonna be questionable. And I just couldn't stop throwing up. I didn't want to call it, but then I went to get up to go to the bathroom and Courtney had to like pick me up out of the chair and my ankle, I couldn't bear weight on it at all. It took me like 2 weeks to get my foot back into a shoe. And so I wore one sandal and one regular shoe to work for 2 weeks after the race. But as soon as I dropped out, like I felt a weird amount of an encouraging feeling while the race was getting harder and harder. Obviously, I went into it anticipating it sucking really badly, but it sucked in a way where it ended up being like a logistical problem that I felt like I could figure out. It wasn't like, this is out of my wheelhouse. So here we are.
Is this how the Kardashians feel?
I'm Courtney. I'm Hunter's wife. We met a little over 5 years ago. From the very first date, he made it very clear that he was looking for a wife, for like a young single mom who is still kind of just figuring out what she needs. It was very intimidating. There was moments I had where it was like, okay, this is real. There's one moment in particular where we were kayaking and we started talking of just like deeper feelings about things, our goals, the kinds of spouses we would want long term. And I remember we were supposed to be paddling and we got so caught up in the conversation, we floated to shore and we're just rocking against the shore, just talking. I mean, for over an hour about all these different things. And you could just, I knew then, I was like, this is serious. Like, this is something that I think we're going to be in it for the long haul. And that was our third date. And so he was very ambitious, and it's something that I think when you meet Hunter, you know that he talks a lot about his ambitions and what his plans are and his goals, but it does not take long for you to know that he means it, because he not only talks about it, but he shows that everything he's saying, he's going to back it up. That is something I never have to doubt. His intentions are always very clear, and all the way to, you know, meeting Kimber, those intentions were always set where he said, I don't want to meet Kimber until she's ready to meet me. And then it was, I don't want to move in or be around too often unless Kimber wants me to. And so she did. It didn't take long for Kimber to realize that he was kind of like that missing piece to us, and he kind of complemented our strengths and was able to deal with our not strengths. So a little over a year of meeting him, we were married. I actually did not know Hunter had doubts about that last race until like a week ago. Like, I thought we were on the same page, like he's not going. And he was like, hell girl, I had an injury 2 weeks before. What did you expect? He's like, I was just trying to do what I could. I was like, what are you talking about? You were gonna win. Like, what do you mean? I was like, what do you mean? Even knowing now that he did not complete the race, if I was able to have that knowledge, go back in time, and you ask me if I think he's going to fail, I would still say no, because now we are here and we're completing the same race again. So it is not a failure. He just did not complete that race. I think the best way to be a parent is to lead by example and During this whole race, he's shown, specifically Kimber, how important it is to keep trying even after you fail. He didn't complete last year, and that could have been the end of it, and that's what we thought it was going to be. And then 6 hours after the race, I'm helping him walk to the bathroom, and I just knew that this wasn't over. And I said, "You want to try again, don't you?" And he said yes. And so from that moment on, we knew we were going to have to try again, and this time finish the race.
My name is Kimber, and I am Hunter's child.
Do you think Hunter will fail?
Depends on what fail means.
Do you think Hunter's capable?
Oh yeah, he's definitely capable. He's capable of anything. Well, let me start from the beginning. It was December 11th, 2019. This is probably my favorite memory, and it was the night that I met Hunter. My mom told me that he did like surgery on mice and that he studied mice brains. Like, what does that mean? So I had this skeleton kit, but the organs were gummy, like they were squishy. And I took the brain out and I was like, oh, he would really like this. I was like, I do like brains. And I showed it to him. He was like, oh, cool. And he like took it and he was like, yeah, that's the frontal lobe, blah, blah, blah. It was the same night. And we watched Christmas Story. It was my first time watching it. And we had this really old recliner. And my mom and Hunter were sitting next to each other, so I sit next to them. And we're watching it. I farted so loud. And Hunter's like, was that you? I'm like, no. No, that wasn't me.
Right?
He taught me how to like regulate emotions, because back when I was a wee little 6-year-old, if I got brushed by a leaf, I would start screaming. And I was learning how to ride my bike. He would like balance the bike and he'd be like, that's what balance feels like. I'm like, all right. And then I'd fall over. My favorite thing about him is he never gives up. Me and my mom used to get mad at him as a joke because every single hobby that we tried, he would do it. And we were like, why is he doing this? And he would always be good at it. So like whenever I first attempted to learn piano, I didn't. I gave up on that a long time ago. I was like, oh, I'm gonna try to learn Bohemian Rhapsody. And he was like, okay. So I leave from and I come back in there, that man learned Bohemian Rhapsody on the piano. And I'm like, why is he learning all our hobbies? Then my mom was like, that's how he shows affection. I was like, okay, but it's annoying. And now we make jokes saying like, now you're gonna try to learn how to play the viola. Now you're gonna try to become a swimmer in the Olympics. Him doing all my hobbies, it motivates me because he shows me what he can do even though he's had no experience. I'm like, dang, that's pretty good for somebody with no experience, and I've had a lot of experience, so that means I can do better. The thing is, he's like never bad at something. And I mean, like, he's mediocre at it, but like he's never terrible at it. He tries so hard to do it. He's like mediocre. A couple months ago we were talking about why Hunter started to run, and he said that he started running because of me. I was like, me? And he was like, yeah, I wanted to show you that you could do anything like if you try hard. I started his whole career.
So I chose ultra running as like my next hard thing to try to tackle because several years ago I noticed that Kimber was having a difficult time with approaching struggle and things that she was just interested in, and so she would happen upon like a new task, and as soon as it got hard or felt a little bit uncomfortable, she would always think that that meant that particular thing wasn't for her. And so I would watch her approach all of these different things, and it's like, okay, well, I can't just tell her that just because it feels bad to be new at a thing, it doesn't mean those growing pains aren't natural and something that everyone experiences. Ultimately, you know, modeling is the best form of learning because at the end of the day, your kids don't listen to the words that you say. They develop the habits that you exemplify. And so the problem was everything I worked hard at back then, I had been doing for years. I was a good archer. I was a good bow hunter. I went to the gym religiously, and I had been doing jiu-jitsu for several years consistently. I myself wasn't doing anything to remove myself from my comfort zone, because even though hunting, archery, jiu-jitsu, going to the gym are difficult, that doesn't mean they don't become comfortable over time. I didn't get butterflies anymore from showing up to jiu-jitsu class. That felt normal to me. I didn't get butterflies going to the gym and lifting weights. That was normal. Hunting felt normal. Shooting a bow felt normal. And so I think that's another trap that I think people fall into. They convince themselves that the hard habits they are doing are hard when they really just go through the motions. My solution to this problem was to find something that totally took me out of my area of expertise and my comfort zone, and do something that Kimber could watch me do and develop over the course of a very long time, and something that would require her to watch me suffer during the process of that, and so that she could see, okay, hey, a person could not be a natural at this thing. They could actually start from zero.
I didn't have any previous running experience. I had never been a runner.
The beauty of running is that no matter who you are and how much money that you have, you can't buy your way to a finish line. And so the trail doesn't care like what gear you have on. It doesn't care how much money you have in your bank account. At the end of the day, everyone that crosses the finish line had to put their shoes on 1 foot at a time, lace them up, and get on the trail and run it. That's why I chose running and not something else.
I decided to aim at training for an ultra marathon, which then the shortest ultra marathon distance that I could do was a 50K. I hated training, and so leading up to the 50K, I was like, I'm so ready for this race to happen because I'm so over this prep. It's just so time consuming. But after the race, it was just so invigorating, and I felt like I had a runner's high the entire race. I just didn't anticipate it being that rewarding. And so as soon as I finished that race, I actually started looking for longer races to do. And that's when I happened across the Mamba. It just got announced, and it was going to be Memphis' first ever 100. And so I actually signed up for the Mamba 100 6 months total into running training period. I went from not running at all to aspiring to run this 100-mile distance, which I think a lot of people would consider to be kind of funny. In fact, when I ran my first 50K, I told the race director that I had never run a marathon before, and he thought that was crazy. And he was like, okay, well, surely you've run a half marathon before. And I was like, yeah, but I hadn't run a half marathon before either.
But I've always been intrigued by these like logistical problems to solve, and figuring out how to continue to run for 24 hours without stopping was a giant logistical problem. And when I sat down with Kimber and Courtney and decided that this is what we were going to do, like none of us had any clue how to do it. But the point was, I wanted to show Kimber that it was okay to approach a problem with no guidance, no experience, and just a willingness to embrace this process of sucking on a path to less suck.
When he said he was going to run 100 miles in 24 hours, are you surprised?
Nope. Nope.
No, not even a little bit, no. Makes all the sense in the world.
I was not at all surprised that he would choose something as extreme as a 100-mile race. My name is Drew Garth, and I met Hunter through jiu-jitsu 4 years ago. He invited me to the Spring River with him, and I went, even though I didn't really, like, I knew him casually through jiu-jitsu, but I didn't know him super well. But it was just so much fun, and we've been good friends ever since. I've asked him to be the best man at my wedding because to me, Hunter's sort of like a kindred spirit. We see this world the same way. Gradually over time, I would like see little glimpses of like, if he had something going on and he was talking to me about it, the thoughtfulness that he kind of gave to it, it let me know that he's not just sort of like winging it. He has a vision for how he wants to live his life. Integrity was important to him, character was important. I admired that about him, and you can expect to simultaneously have like the most rock solid guy that you can imagine and like a 12-year-old that's like willing to get into a little bit of trouble at times, I would say. One of the things that well, I wouldn't say I've fully learned it, but it's something that he is like, I am continually learning from him, is the power of being totally calm even when there's chaos going on around you. You know, things aren't going the way that you want them to, but just keep a cool head. One thing I've heard him say a lot, and I hope I get the quote right, but he'll say model calmness. He's good at just sort of recognizing that the way it's gonna be is the way it's gonna be. And I think it pays off for him because in the end, like, whenever those kind of tumultuous times come along, when you look back on it, at least in Hunter's situation, he always handled it correctly. Like, he didn't put himself in a bad position by like overreacting to something. One of the things about distance running, like, you don't have to make these like split-second decisions. You know, it's not like you have an exact moment where you have to make a decision. You tend to be able to dedicate some time to your decisions and, you know, kind of weigh your options before you decide, okay, am I gonna take a break here? Is this a moment where I can, like, you know, burn a little gas? That sort of scenario where Hunter has the ability to look at all of his options and take his time to make the best decision, I think he thrives in that kind of a decision-making environment. There's probably levels to it. There's probably just the sense of accomplishment that anyone would feel completing a race of that length. But I think there's also an element of proving to yourself that you're just intensely capable of accomplishing whatever goal or overcoming whatever obstacle. But it's this sort of thing where you are constantly being faced with your inadequacy because you're being punished for it every day. You set a goal, you try to achieve the goal. Maybe you do and maybe you don't, and if not, then it's like in your face that, like, you know, you need to improve something, reminding you that you can still do better and giving you something to focus your effort on.
Way cooler than I expected. Oh really? Yeah.
Something like running, especially a race of this length, it's going to be full of that. I mean, Hunter really had little to no running experience prior to this, so he was starting from being able to run 0 miles, and there's 100 of them between 0 and 100 that he's got to overcome. I think it just fits with his character in that way. Like, he enjoys that process of being faced with his inadequacy and then overcoming that.
Hunter and I have known each other for 16, 17, somewhere around there, years. The night that we met is actually one of the best memories I have with Hunter. I was at Chris and Kyle's house. They were like, our friend Hunter's gonna come over. And I was like, okay, that's cool. You know, I hadn't met this guy yet. I've heard about him, hadn't met him yet. And Chris and Kyle and I had the boxing gloves out already, messing around. Hunter walks in the door, never met him before, didn't know him. I'm like, hey man, nice to meet you, I'm Matt. He's like, nice to meet you. We get probably 3 words out to each other, and Kyle's like, y'all should box. I'm like, I don't even know this guy. He's like years younger than me. Hunter being Hunter, before the blink of an eye, we've got boxing gloves on. So me and Hunter literally boxed each other before we even knew each other for 60 seconds. So that tells you a lot about Hunter and how he is. He's definitely not scared to back down from any situation. He didn't know me. I was several years older than him, obviously much bigger at the time, and he didn't bat an eye. Just as good as they come, just solid friend. I've had many instances where I've called him like, hey man, I know you don't know nothing about this, but what do you think about it? Give me your thoughts on it. And he's going to tell me what I need to hear, even if it's something that I don't want to hear. I've always appreciated that about Hunter. He thinks rationally, he sees the bigger picture.
I think when Hunter DNF'd the last race, he learned that we have to go back to the drawing board. We learned a ton from last year, and I think we're going into the race this year with a true understanding of what needs to happen in order for him to be successful. It really takes time to develop to be a runner. The longer you have, you are more successful that way, and I think we're going to prove that.
So this time around has been 7 days a week for around 36 weeks now. Every single day I do something aimed at finishing this race. And so specific things that I've changed was, one, I extended the time of training out by about 11 weeks. And that just allowed me to do 2 builds and tapers into race week so that I could account for maybe weeks that I had gotten sick or pulled a muscle or something like that. And so the miles, or really being on for 1 build and taper, weren't as critical. I had a really bad ankle injury, which inspired the sort of anti-inflammatory protocol that I've been following. I have a very deliberate and intentional mobility routine, cold plunged regularly for most of the year. Courtney has done a great job with prepping.
Hi, I'm Courtney, in Courtney's Super Duper Family Fun Kitchen. Today we're making Hunter's food like we do every Sunday.
I brought some LMNT with us.
What's so good about it, honey?
It has so much electrolytes, and we got an entire box for free. And you can get the same thing if you use 901.
Why are you giving my phone?
So last year before the race, we did not focus on nutrition at all, really. So this year we've been very meticulous about what his nutritional intake is like during the week. And so on Sundays, it's meal prep day, and we try to make sure we have everything down for the whole week so he can stay consistent in his diet. And so we have these protein, kind of like energy balls with breakfast, which is like high protein, low carb breakfast sandwiches. And then for lunch, he'll do a couple burgers with cheese, and then we'll do a higher carb, so we'll do some rice. We are really focused on immunity, hydration, probiotics, anti-inflammatory supplements, things like that. And so every week I make these wellness shots to wellness.
I know Hunter through his wife. Most people call me AK. As Courtney was a single gal and looking for love. And one day she came into work and she said, I met this guy. I think I'm in love with him. So I met him at my housewarming party. And they were kind of new, and we were all kind of like testing him out. And sure enough, Hunter was everything that she said that he was. And I remember meeting him and being like, this can't be real. Like, I just think about when Courtney told him that she had a child, and he like didn't bat an eye, and also didn't take it lightly. Like, it wasn't like, oh yeah, I got that. It was like, okay, I need to really learn about that. He's really become the most incredible stepdad that I have ever gotten to witness. And I think that his stepdaughter would say the exact same thing. It's not just us watching from the outside. I mean, to me, that's like the perfect illustration of who Hunter is. His dedication to the 100 miler is very synonymous with who he is as a dad and as a husband and a friend, in the sense that this race is going to put him to his limits, and he's like preparing for that. And I feel like he is someone that when it is really hard, he's going to show up and figure it out. To me, it's why I think he's going to kill this race. Like, he's just going to show up and get it done.
That was hard. It's all good though.
I could talk about Courtney for days. Something that I love about Courtney is that if she doesn't know what to do, she will seek the answer. And there have been so many times that she'll call me and be like, hey, there's something going on and I'm wondering if I could get your advice. First of all, I have no idea what I'm doing, right? So funny that she would ask me. And and I really appreciate and respect that she is like really gonna search for an answer and really wants to handle things the right way. So I think that the fact that she's gonna be his crew to me makes sense, because she's kind of innately someone that knows what you need before you say it. In 2020, I had to give myself shots and I was terrified, like terrified of having to do it, right? Like I truly was like, and this is how I pass away. And so I had to do it at work one day, and I think Courtney walked into my office when I was about to. Like, I don't really remember the setup, but before I knew it, Courtney grabbed that needle and did it herself. Giving me a shot was probably probably the most simple thing she's ever done in her life. But for me, it felt huge. But I do think that's just who she is. She just like is gonna jump in. Like, she's gonna help you. And so for this race, she's gonna know exactly what to do and she's gonna get it done.
Fortunately for me, but maybe not so much for Courtney, she is honestly probably the most supportive person I have ever been around. And I don't say that to say it in vain, because if you know Courtney, you know her to be supportive to a fault. And what I mean by that is that she works to lift everyone up at the expense of herself. And especially when it comes to Kimber and I, she is so committed every single day to make sure that we excel in everything that we are doing, that a lot of times I have to just have these check-ins with her where I'm like, hey, like everything's about us all the time. What do you need from us? What are you trying to get done tomorrow, next week, next month, this year? Because you need to be fulfilled. Because it's like her fulfillment is seeing us fulfilled. I think there's been no better tool to have than Courtney. God. Oh. In my tool bag, because it's just like coming home to a person that lives to make sure that you have an opportunity to do all the things that you want to do. You can't put a price on that, and that's just the biggest advantage I can really think of. I mean, people like point to things that they see people do, and I think they wonder like what natural advantage do they have. And I just don't feel like I have many natural advantages. I have people around me that are willing to do things for me that I can't really, for a reason that I can't really articulate. And Courtney is like at the top of that list. She believes in me in a way that I don't understand and that I don't believe in myself. I believe in myself to try hard. I believe to show up and give an effort. But Courtney just thinks I can do anything. And when you feel that, it's like the most empowering thing you can use when you're getting on the starting lines for some of these things. Obviously, that's why, she's going to be there to crew me for a 24-hour plus long effort. Not only will Courtney not mind, it's like she's fully invested. She's as invested in this as I am. And so I just couldn't ask for any more than she is offering, and I couldn't ask for anything more, extending beyond her from anyone else. I feel fortunate is not the word, but for lack of a better word, I just feel infinitely fortunate to have that backing from Courtney.
Ow! He said he's gonna run with me tomorrow.
It's on the floor right there.
Oh, inside?
Yeah, in the dining room.
Courtney, they're in the dining room.
Those big bags out there.
You want the regular syrup, right? I bought it from Cracker Barrel and it was $10 a piece.
Ears are.
Listening.
Eyes are.
Watching.
Mouth is.
Shut up!
Exactly.
So he'll finish his fourth lap anywhere between like 7:30 and 8:44.
Dogs getting around.
That's not even the case anymore because there's so much rain. He's gonna get new socks and new shoes every time he comes through.
Yeah, is his toes gonna fall off or what if they get wet?
Yeah. They'll like get logged and it's bad.
Oh, y'all have labeled who has to change his socks? Like Dalton has to change his socks at lap 5?
He's a pacer.
Lap 5 from 8:44 to 12:10. Dalton has to change his socks. So what is a pacer? What does that mean? They'll run with him, literally? That's it.
Do the darts. Yeah.
Dalton's gonna do that?
No, he's not.
Dalton can do that?
No.
Are we sure?
No.
Then what's he gonna do?
He's gonna try and then he's gonna stop.
So Dalton, I don't really know what I can say about Dalton pacing me, but I'll say this: either Dalton shows up and he crushes it, and I will say that if he shows up, we'll have a good lap together. Otherwise, I wouldn't have asked him. But the other side of the coin is that when it's time for Dalton's lap to come, which I anticipate being around like 9 at night until maybe midnight, he's either going to be there or he's going to be asleep, and there's no in between. He's not going to be like at the race, like, I don't know if I can do it. Oh, it's kind of late. He's either just not going to be there or we're going to be running at midnight together. I think Dalton is actually going to show up to that race, and we're going to run 14 miles together from like 9 o'clock at night to midnight without Dalton ever having told me personally that he is willing to do it. And I think that just sums up Dalton in a scenario. Yeah, but I appreciate that about Dalton, and so I think if you know Dalton well, you don't really expect anything more or less from him. So yeah, I'm excited to see where Dalton is at midnight when we're supposed to be on mile 12 of 14 together. So Matt was sort of different, I guess, to ask to be one of my pacers, but I did ask him probably 6 months ago. The funny thing about that is I haven't heard from him or how his training's going, so I'm curious to see how that's going to go when it is finally race day.
I was surprised when he asked me to run 14 of those miles. I was very surprised at that, Hunter. Thank you. So I'm probably gonna just get him a gift card.
So Jordan is really just an animal. I think his like meter for suck and pain are just broken in a way, because this guy has been on some like 4-hour training runs with me for no other reason, just to be there and get the work in. And he's like hobbling the last couple of miles, no preparation, just kind of takes the amount of water and nutrition with him on the runs that I tell him to. And the next day he's telling me about how hard it is to get out of bed and peg leg to the bathroom. But he's still always there asking me when the next run is going to be, and he still shows up. We've run in the pouring down rain together for like 5 hours straight. It never stopped. Jordan doesn't complain. He shows up with black eyes, sore. And so I guess it's kind of unfair that I leveraged that characteristic against him and asked him to pace me, because I know it's going to suck for Jordan, but I know he's 100% going to show up for it. So I think he's the man for the job.
My name is Jordan McCall. I'm pacing the 100-mile race for Hunter Nolen. We're one day out from the mud run on crack. Tried to get sponsored by Uncrustables, didn't go through. Me and Hunter are gonna make our own Uncrustable flavored snack in a triangle. Mamba 100, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, he still hasn't officially.
I haven't
told
decided.
him.
I haven't
I
decided.
don't know how much pacing I'm gonna be doing. I'm just gonna be keeping up. See, this here is what gets you to 100 miles. You gotta have the gear, folks.
That's right.
Yeah, if I had gear, I'd do the whole thing.
See, this is what I got.
You might get to 14.
Might get to 14.
I've got my feet and you don't realize how with a walk down the alley you got me twice. Caught my eye, caught my hunger, and I'm caught in
I was telling Hunter, I woke up at like 2 a.m., but I woke up because Hunter was talking. And I like sat up and looked, I'm like, is he on the phone with someone? Like, what is happening? He was just asleep. His eyes were closed. I was like, oh. I've never heard him sleepwalk before. It's about 57 degrees right now. I think the high's gonna get to about 70, 72. It's still a little misty, but it's been kind of raining off and on all night, so he's gonna let us know what the trails look like. Hopefully not too muddy, but temperature should be good today.
We're gonna get started soon. We got less than 20 minutes. So eventually y'all wanna start making your way over here.
Hunter!
Hello. We're about to start. See you in a couple of hours. Love you. Have a good day at school. I'm gonna try. I'll see you in a little bit. Bye.
All right, y'all, we're gonna count down from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go! Y'all have a good race.
Welcome to my crib. My overly sponsored crib. Thanks to our kind sponsors. We got a couple zero gravities. This will be already a game changer because last year all we had were just regular lawn chairs, and I sat on the ground and changed out his socks, redid all of his bandages. I already talked to him this morning and told him when he comes in, we'll have one of these kind of turns. He'll immediately sit down, prop up his feet. I have a little chair, quick little pit stop. He'll be able to eat while I'm doing it, and then he'll just get up and go, and that's gonna help cut some time as well. We have a stove this year. During his race, whenever there are times where he would typically be eating a meal, he's already told me what he's wanting. Because last year he would just text me on the trail and be like, I want Chick-fil-A, or I want mashed potatoes, and so I kind of had to just figure out how to make it, so this will be very helpful. We have tons of different snacks, hydration, immunity, peanut butter and jelly that he can snack on if he needs to, or any of the pacers while they're here, because a lot of the pacers will be coming in a couple hours before they start, and either sleeping in the tent or hanging out here, and just make sure we have everything we need for them. And then we kind of move over into more like supplies, so we have tons of like first aid, lots of prep for our feet, and then last year he had a lot of GI issues, so when he comes back through, I'm gonna have just like a little baggie of medication, so like if he's on the loop and he starts getting nauseous or he starts getting pain, he'll have something to be able just to take quickly. Different braces, we have calf braces, ankles, knee. Right now everything feels good, but gonna try to convince him to start wearing ankle braces maybe after the 3rd or 4th loop, just to be sure because of what happened last year. So this is kind of our little cheat sheet just to keep up with timing for best case scenario versus worst case. And we also have like where our pacers will be, what kind of meals he's going to want for every lap, nutrition, preventative maintenance, just kind of everything you would need to know for each lap to make sure you know what he's needing when he's coming in, so we can get him back out as fast as possible.
Only 6 more times.
So first lap was fine, but with this being single track trail, you get stuck in just like a little bit of a Congo line. And so you really have to run the first lap a little bit hot to establish your position in the race. Otherwise, you're just gonna get stuck behind the pack and be sort of at the mercy of whatever pace everyone else is racing.
I need my nutrition.
You're ahead still. I also made your stomach crack. When you come back through, it'll have grilled cheese.
Yep. The race doesn't even start until the sun goes down.
This is just
Yeah, a little warm up. All right, see you in a couple miles.
I'd say lap 2 and lap 3 of the race are sort of like no man's land, because it's not the first lap where you're sort of like setting the tone for the race, and it's not your halfway mark, it's not the laps where you're starting to feel bad. And so lap 2 and lap 3 you're just getting loose for when the race really starts, which to me, the race is starting at laps 4 and 5.
No worries.
That's
29. My vice historically has been my stomach, so it's good that I feel hungry and not nauseous. Not nothing. Yeah. For the race, I'm just trying to run, you know, maybe just above that, where I'm pushing a little bit harder than easy training runs, but still not in like a high lactate building threshold.
Thank you, Parent Legacy. I might leave behind.
She really. The best part.
Only 5 more.
Yeah.
Left foot, right foot.
Yeah, like it's nothing.
Until the wife says 100 miles. How can you screw that up?
See you, Don. No, Dalton, start stretching because we ain't doing no fucking walking.
Only 4 more, come on!
Dawn's in trouble. 43 and a quarter, almost halfway. Stomach's feeling good.
Oh yeah, they're
Passing a lot of people now. As soon as it gets dark, people start quitting when it gets dark. Thank you guys.
So we'll just continue doing the socks and stuff.
I need to get faster at doing this thing now.
Hello.
What's up?
Feeling really good. I think that there is a unspoken feeling that we all have where, depending on how he feels coming out of this lap, we'll kind of be able to project where we're going to end in this race.
Come back, you'll have
And Dalton.
Got this.
I was most excited and anticipating this lap in particular because the first year I ran this race, lap 4 is where I started to have so much trouble. And so lap 4 in year 1 of the Mamba is where the wheels really started to fall off for me in like a lot of different ways. And I would say lap 4 this year, I felt completely fresh, physically, mentally, emotionally. At least going into this race, I was not going to be dead on lap 4.
This is the magic lap. I shut down on this lap last year.
Lap 4 started and it felt like I had just started to run.
I think because there was so much pressure on the 4th lap already, it made me incredibly nervous. So I text him and I'm like, look, if anything is wrong, I need to know about it. And he says that nothing is wrong. And he says, when Dalton gets there, tell him to call me. I don't know what's about to happen. Is he about to tell Dalton that he can't finish? Like if something's majorly wrong? Is he expecting Dalton to talk him into continuing to run? Because that's scary. Hey.
Hey.
You're on speaker.
Is Dalton there?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Hey, Dalton.
What up?
You're
Why?
Because we ain't doing no walking out here.
Man, my calves were cramping walking 100 yards up here from the car.
Yeah. Yeah, get ready to grind, because we're grinding.
What kind of pace are you running?
Right now, like a 13:30.
Okay.
Get ready to kick some ass, because we're kicking it.
Yeah.
So,
How many miles in are you?
I just hit 48.
48? Oh, okay.
Yeah, 48. I should have 58 when I get back.
I think 56.
56, okay. I'm losing track of the math.
Are you feeling good?
Yeah, I've been running the whole time still, so my stomach feels completely normal.
Okay. Are you still ready for a cheese quesadilla?
No.
Oh, ramen.
Yeah.
Okay.
What the hell? Okay, I'll be back in a little bit.
All right, love you.
All right, love you.
Bye.
When I get back from my lap, I need you to have me a cup of ramen noodles and a grilled cheese ready. And cooled off. And ready to feed it to me.
Who's gonna make that for you? But like, don't you need to be like warming up?
I've got it forever.
He keeps saying it.
He's probably, what? It's 6:30, at least another hour. I'll just go easy the first mile and that'll be my stretch.
He's about to be fighting demons out there.
Refresh it again and it says he's up here. So like,
The thing is, like, right before y'all came, long story short, I think he's just delusional, because he then said when we were on the phone with him, he was like,
don't be sensitive. Why is there poop right here?
Clean it up then.
They've been here all day just sniffing food.
It's literally melted into the ground.
He would clean it up immediately.
It's melted into the ground.
That's literally who we're missing. Like Hunter, why hasn't Hunter picked it up? Actually,
When he comes in, yeah, text him and tell him when he gets back here we have some food for him to pick up.
Brother's locked in. He said he wanted ramen and a grilled cheese ready when he gets back, and I said I'll make it for you, but you have to complete the 14 miles first.
He's gonna have it cooked and cooled off and ready for me.
Yeah, perfect temp.
Better have a Coke Zero ready.
Okay, well now that's only
These humans are way better.
like 100 calories for both of them.
Yeah, 200. I don't need that much.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah, he's got reserves.
No warm-ups, no prior training,
No
just
water?
That's what's gonna mess you up though, bro. Like when you don't have enough and you get in a deficit, you're gonna.
It's one lap. I'll be fine.
He's got reserves.
For 3 hours.
He's got reserves. He's got plenty. He's got plenty to pull from if he gets too hungry.
All right. It's 7 p.m. He's at about 55 miles. When he comes in, he'll be at 7 p.m. Hunter's at about 55 miles into the race.
Sorry.
It's 7:54. Hunter's 54 miles into the race. When he gets to the tent, he'll be at 56, and that's when I pace him for 1 lap. I haven't ran any. No water, no food, but I have.
Shout out Huma.
Record time pacer.
What would be the best?
I'm gonna FaceTime y'all from the trail.
Oh, no, don't.
For real.
Do that.
You've only got 3 hours. You've got this. You have 0 training. 3 hours is nothing. Untrained, 3 hours.
This is way harder than a 100-mile run when you've been training every day. I'm like straight off the couch.
When I called Dalton, that was almost like, I would say, my pat on the back for this last year of work. But I wasn't really talking to Dalton, I was talking to myself. I was 58 miles in and I was feeling so good. I had actually started to run too fast again and I had to tell myself to slow down because I just felt so emotionally stimulated by how excited I was to have realized the benefits of all the harder and more deliberate approach to training that I had taken all year long. I just felt like I had this like overwhelming level of just like excitement and energy and just satisfaction from this past year's hard work that I had to get out. It just was like, I felt like it was something that I owed myself.
Small technical difficulty. Yeah, my mouthpiece broke and I've been losing all my water.
Alright, baby. Sayonara. What do you want to do first?
Small amount of trouble. Let's go. Y'all.
What's it? What's wrong?
This broke and I've been losing all my water. I ran out of water with like 6 miles of it. Probably do the rest with a bottle.
Oh, is it on the table?
I'm about to cook on camera.
Wait a second. Where's Dolphin?
I think he did get some food actually.
Wait a second. Where's Dolphin? Right here.
Courtney's making me nervous.
Man, my stomach is like bulletproof.
You're gonna do that to my feet too.
That's what sucks. It's 3 miles in, and then we got to do 7.
I better get a water
miles
bottle then.
before we come back around.
Man, I haven't ran in a long time.
I didn't hear how long ago that was.
Man, that was a few years ago.
Oh, you're done.
Yeah, I've done road running since
A few
then.
years
but-
ago.
And you're about what?
30 years old.
31.
And you ran that when you're
20, 19.
Oh, you're done. No, you need to get you another
20.
bottle of that water. You want some good old hot coffee? With a little taste of Fireball in it?
Yeah, he may have to abandon me on the trail.
That's what we're hoping. I hope you don't come back first.
I'll just have a nice moonlit hike.
25 ultras in my life. If I have to give you a little thought while you're out there, welcome the pain and discomfort. Welcome it. Bring it on. You're pushing yourself when most people are sleeping in.
Let's go.
You're doing something uncomfortable when most people choose comfort. You're putting yourself out there and taking a risk when most people take it easy. And then when you accept that pain, realize, okay, let it go now. We're not giving it a bigger voice than it deserves. Feel that gratitude that you're out there pushing and grinding and doing something that 99.9% of this planet will never do their entire life. I'm inspired by you. Keep putting one foot in front of the next. That'll get you to the finish. Much love, brother.
Lap 5 is when the race starts. You're past halfway in the mileage, and whatever's going to hurt is usually starting to hurt. But you know, if you feel it now, you know 50 miles from now, it could like rear its head. When the darkness sets in and you can't look out into the woods anymore, you can't distract yourself from these little things that you're taking inventory of. All of these voices that you were able to tell to be quiet, it's so much harder to get them to be quiet.
Let me tell you what's really power in a run. Raspberry salt flavored LMNT. The best tasting electrolyte powder on the market. I'm cutting promos.
Is that ranch? Chicken barbecue ranch? Is that crinkle fries? No, that's fajita meat. No, what is that? Those fries sound crispy.
Man, I wish we had one of those Oreo cream pies at the aid station. They do have those waffle cone sundaes though.
All I want is a bed.
I'm ready for these ramen noodles and grilled cheese.
Probably gonna make you one.
Yeah. I guess there's also a bunch of just random food up there too, right?
Yeah, whatever you want.
Yeah. I'm gonna scarf down quite a bit. I do have some dirty rice at home, but I'd rather get nasty and eat a waffle cone sundae.
You got yourself a Snickers. You got one. You don't deserve a cup holder. You hold your drink like you're holding that Snickers. That Snicker. Should be two. There's only one.
We're 8.3 miles into our 14.3 mile loop. A couple miles from the aid station, and then it's a short trip back to camp. And then Courtney's gonna have me some perfectly tempered ramen noodles, an Uncrustable, a grilled cheese. Pushing through just for that bite. Haven't had me a waffle cone sundae, a hot dog, ramen noodles, 2 Coke Zeros, a Dr. Pepper Zero.
Dalton's not going to be with him. I'm going to find Dalton whenever I'm running with Hunter on this next lap.
All right, give me your mile 70-ish thoughts.
A lot of shit hurts, but
still definitely feel like I have 100-mile legs, but we are going to have to suffer for it.
Man, after a run like this, I really crave some Salud electrolyte and immunity.
After a long night in the woods, there's only one thing on my mind. That is Salud. Look at
that. We kind of all had our phones out, and we have the tracker from the race. We're all like doing math, which we've been doing for the past like 13 hours at this point. So we're all a little delirious, and we're all trying to make sure we're keeping up with his pace. And I'm noticing he's slowing down, and it seems like every time you would refresh his location, it felt like he wasn't even moving. And so trying to figure out, was it like a tech issue? Is something wrong with Hunter? You don't want to harass the pacer, but also trying to stay as prepared as possible for whatever might happen. So Dalton is communicating with us some. He mentions, how's our pace? Do we need to move a little faster? And we were like, yes, I think you're at like a 14 and a half. You need to go to 14 if you can. But it feels like we're already behind. It's okay, because we're still gonna finish in 24 hours. So he's like, okay, we'll do that. And that's when Drew starts doing the math on his pace. Oh shit, things are changing like instantly.
It's a little bit past midnight. Hunter left out about 8:30. The goal was to be about 3.5 hour laps, but we're pushing into about 4 hours, which just slowly over the last couple laps has dropped just a little bit, and I think we're in territory. Oh god. I don't think we're gonna make the 24-hour pace. Do I look like a crazy person? Which is totally fine. I don't care. Oh my gosh. But I look like a crazy person. Oh, I just really worried that he thinks he's not doing a good job, because we're not gonna make the 24-hour pace. But we're still gonna do it. He's still. I look insane. I feel like. So Hunter will be coming in. He's got about a mile left. We're finishing up lap 5, but he has a lot of physical problems coming up. So pace is not looking great. We're getting to a point where I don't think we're gonna make the 24-hour mark, but it seems like he's still in good spirits and is still determined. So he's gonna come in. We're probably gonna need more time than what we anticipated for getting him back in shape to get back on the loop. So he's got a lot of muscle problems in his quad, so we're gonna roll that out, try to get him good to go, wrap some toes, new socks. I think he has some GI issues maybe going on, so we're gonna try to just get him settled enough to complete the race. My point about all this is, I think it's not going the way we thought it would. I'm copyright. I'm just worried that he thinks that that means that it's not a success, and it is. Like, he's still gonna finish, it's just not gonna be the way I think he originally planned for it to. So I just wanna see him and evaluate and make sure he's still good. He said, no matter what, I'm still gonna finish, so he's gonna come in here, and we're gonna get him taken care of, and he's gonna finish out these last 2 laps. Next pacer's coming on. He's ready to rock and roll. He's been training with Hunter for the last several months, and he's good to jump in and keep him going. And I think physically he'll be able to keep Hunter on track and at a good pace. But at this point, it's just finishing, which he definitely will. It's just not going to be what we thought it would be.
When he comes back, he's got about 30 miles.
Jordan, you look like a terrorist still.
We got about 30 miles when he comes back. We're gonna get this done as quick as possible, but he's not feeling up to it. We're just gonna finish this race. All we're gonna do is finish. I know he's got it.
Can you blink?
I know he's got it. I'm not blinking the entire 15 miles I'm out there.
Tad behind schedule. I'm alright though. I just have to gotta take care of this ankle. Then I can try to run again. My ankle has been blown out for like 7 miles. Yeah. They're pretty much turning around. And I'm okay other than my ankle. So I think if we taped it, it would, I could probably run again. I was super tired for the first half. There's a paved section and a boardwalk, and I was running with my eyes closed trying to get like a little bit of a rest. But when we started coming back, I woke up going to do a sleeve on my ankle and then see if we can tape an ice pack to it.
Your right ankle bother?
Yep. And I think I may have.
Think what?
I think I may have knocked my toenail off on my right foot.
You want to start with GI?
Yeah, that'll be good. Under this just throbbing. Man, my brain is like gone. I can't think of anything. We were out running. Man, that hurts bad. Might be that ride. I'm tired. Well, I need that work for that.
You got this.
Don just did a half marathon.
He PR'd.
The fastest half marathon he's ever done.
And Kaylee, do you want to just like roll in these? Still there? How you feel, buddy?
Real good. I don't have many issues on this ankle, really.
That's good.
I dry heaved a couple times rather than have to throw up.
I gagged a couple times, but it was alright.
It went away as soon as I gagged.
Yeah.
It was 2 good ones, and then I was like, oh, I feel one more again.
What do you look good?
Yeah, you look really good.
I was looking at myself like a car that just had, a flat tire, but there's ways you can tend to a flat tire. You can deal with this, you get back on the road, you get to wherever you're going. Because at some point, you kind of just like are expecting these little things to happen, so you don't really want to give them more of a voice than they deserve. But then it felt like my foot was not on my leg and I was running on like an open wound. That's why I started to dry heave, because I didn't feel sick. I felt okay and I hadn't missed any calories. And I was just like, I don't care how bad this starts to hurt, I'm gonna keep jogging on it. And I think it was making me nauseous, like the sensation of what it was feeling like. It felt like, I would imagine like having a bullet wound and someone is just kind of like rubbing their finger in it. It was a bad feeling.
Dawn, I didn't think you were actually going to make it, so I didn't make your food.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I thought you were going to put it.
Never find a better 100% plant-powered fuel than this one right here.
You always
Almost
like
cutting promos out there. I was like, who the f*** are you talking to? Bro, I'm running with my eyes closed. He said it waffle coat Sunday 10 times.
That doesn't sound like Dalton.
He was like, I want 2 Coke Zeros, a waffle cone sundae, a hot dog, those sort of things. Yeah.
That's showing no rain until 7 a.m.
That's what mine was showing. Mine's showing 65 at 2 a.m.
Hold it up.
What we got is the ice. There you is. There we go.
You have something to wrap? Yeah, we can do that.
I was 100% sure how this is going to work.
It's okay. Well, I ain't moving too fast, so it might be alright. I keep taking steps. That watch will say 100 eventually.
I thought you already had that.
Yeah. Alright, well. For real. Alright, man.
The atmosphere changed once we started on 6, because by that point we knew it was going to be a while. We knew he was in the pain cave. We knew we did everything we could for him, and it was just a matter of one step at a time, up every hill and back again, just waiting on him.
We're going to do a little power hiking if that's okay.
Yep, that's good. You're almost there.
But it's a beautiful night out there.
Oh yeah.
You can see just out exactly to where your headlight is shining and nothing else.
Love it.
Okay.
No chance of it. I'm not sick or hurt. Nope. Got a few sore spots. Quads are blocked up, but
You got this.
that's all right. If I didn't want to hurt, I'd run a marathon. At this time, I had a reasonable amount of expectation to work through this ankle thing and it come back. Jordan and I left out on lap 6. It was really hard for me to descend, and unfortunately during that lap nothing ever really started to come back to reinvigorate me physically, and I think that's where I started to feel pretty defeated because my ankle was getting worse. It's starting to get to the point to where I couldn't really walk on it. I noticed I could not bring my foot up and I couldn't lift my toes up either. It was just kind of like I had a dead foot on the end of my leg, and so I was just basically stomping with each step. And I think that sent me into the psychological low of the race finally, because my inner dialogue had been getting louder and louder and louder. But now my inner dialogue was, I want this race to be over. This is hurting worse than I wanted it to hurt. Why would my ankle start to do this after all of this training? Of course this would happen to me. I would finish sub 24 hour if it just hadn't been for my ankle. I've been in the dark for 8 hours now. How am I going to do this for 4 more hours before the sun comes up? I'm so ready for this race to be over. And you know, I had forgotten about the cameras being there. I had forgotten about the film. I had forgotten about the crew, how much time Courtney had invested into getting me to the finish line. I had forgotten about my strategy. I forgot how many friends were back at the aid station waiting to see me. And I couldn't get out of that spot for a long time. I think it's important to emphasize, people are like, Hunter is so badass. Look how in shape he is. Mile 75, it's like, I don't want to be on that trail anymore. I don't feel in shape. I'm pouting. I don't feel cool. I will say one advantage that I have, and that I sort of hope that I can pay this mentality forward, probably one of the most impactful pieces of advice that my dad gave me when I was a kid. One thing he used to say was, just because the sun goes down doesn't mean the day is over. And I thought about that for a long time, and I probably haven't heard that since probably 10 years old. But I've always thought back to that and what that means. When the sun goes down, obviously the day's not over. You know, the sun goes down, you're ready to go to bed. But the only reason you're ready to go to bed when the sun goes down is because everyone has always told you, you know, when it's bedtime, it's bedtime. What I eventually learned from thinking about that is, if you're always looking around at all these people around you and you stop when they say, that's enough, I'm ready to stop, you never get anything special done. Eventually, I got to the point where I was like, oh, this is what it is. When you first started thinking about running 100 miles, you wanted to feel like this. And that was recalibrating my metric for suffering. And you know, people in ultra, they talk about the highs and the lows, and they talk about, you know, entering the low, expecting the low to happen, and expecting the low to end, and you come out again and you feel the high. We got here. I got myself to the point to where I had felt sorry for myself for several hours, and then my mindset shifted back to look at the opportunity you've given yourself to hear what it sounds like when you want to quit and no one else is around. The revelation that 2 years ago we signed up for this race, we started training for it. You wanted to hear what your quitting voice sounded like so you could tell it to be quiet, and so you could move on. When I'm coming out of this low, I'm like, you're not who you say you are. You're not like who you advertise yourself to be. You're out here whining because of how bad a trail race hurts. People out here who've been diagnosed with cancer, who have been given an expiration date, who are losing parents, losing spouses, losing children, all these sorts of things that they have no control over,
I'm like, that's real suffering. You're out here feeling sorry for yourself because you're on a trail and your little feet hurt, your little legs are tired, your little ankle hurts, your little stomach hurts. I'm coming out of this low. I'm so wound up at this point. And you know, I'm sorry I spent the last few hours convincing myself that this was a bad spot to be in, but I was like, you're gonna spend the next 2 laps being the person that you say that you are and that you claim to be and that you spent the last 2 years proving to yourself that you were. Ultimately, you got to enjoy this revelation that you know you can see hard things through and that you are not just the type of person who says they can do a hard thing and when it gets hard you won't quit, but you're the type of person that towed the line and found out.
Good on water though?
Actually,
this one here?
What do you got? One more. I'm gonna get it done. How'd you get the custom trekking poles? You know, just around.
Organic crutches.
Yeah.
Dude, you look too good to be standing around here.
Yeah.
You got one more? Just go finish, man. Right?
Good work out there.
Yeah, you too.
Save me.
We did it all.
All right, go get it, man. One more. Got a 100-miler running the flat loop right now.
My ankle's done for.
It's not swollen though, that's good.
87 miles in the van.
I reckon you can do a few more.
Man, that dark, I'm glad the sun came up. That shit was brutal.
Yeah, we had like a little bit of a revival.
Man, I was sick of that shit. I'm about to go crazy out here. Dude, that long running 12 hours. Yeah.
When the sun started to come up, it was so much better. Like you could see like the fall colors and all that stuff.
I was Jordan's headlight died like halfway through the lap.
I didn't fully charge it.
I tell you that.
It lasted a long time for $12 though.
12 hours in the dark ain't fun.
No, dude. That's what I was saying. It's like, eventually it was starting to get light. I was like, that's gonna help.
Yeah, we were waiting on it. We started counting it down from like 2 hours. We were like, all right, 2 hours.
I was like, all right, yeah. I think we counted from 4 too.
And then before it came up, we were like, it seems like it's getting a little lighter out here.
You guys were like gaslighting each other.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah.
We were
checking the weather, and I was like, oh, sunrise is at 6:30.
Your toothbrush
so
is
it's
right
4:30.
We were stopping in the fields, just stopping, looking up. We were like,
that baggy. You just
we were like,
that to him.
that looks lighter to you, right?
Yeah.
All right, folks, we're 7:45 a.m. Not sure how I got here, but I'm here. And I'll be pacing Hunter the last 14 miles, 80 something to 100. So basically doing 100 miles. We went up to...
Hunter's gonna take a break and Gunter's gonna run this way.
Sorry, water.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Oh, what's up, Claire?
Claire, you want some pancakes?
But I can double that. You know what I mean?
Hunter hallucinated twice on our run. He said he saw a girl sitting on top of a log, and then he's like, is there a person right there? I was like, no. He was like, you don't see that person right there? I was like, no, Hunter, there's not a person right there. And then towards the very end when we were coming back, he said, oh my gosh, I thought that was Dom hiding in those trees trying to take pictures of us.
I want to know why he keeps hallucinating about women. Who's these women? Who are they? Who are they? Maybe hallucinate about the love of your life.
My compadre here's got his bucket hat on, which is a good indication of he's not messing around. So we're going to Mamba this 100.
Now we're about to finish strong now, boy.
Oh yeah.
Love you.
Do y'all have like a bottle of water?
Matt has been a friend to me in a way that a lot have not been. Matt went out of his way to be my friend in a time where I think not a lot of people did. I mean, I don't think anyone would have expected him to, and I definitely didn't at that time. But I'd say a period of times where I would have considered my life not so easy. Matt, he never forgot that I was just somewhere out there in the background. He would always send me these random texts. He would be like, hey man, I know what you're trying to do right now is tough and people don't get it, but I just want you to know that I'm proud of you and that 10 years from now, people are going to wish they had done what you're doing now.
Yeah, Hunter Logan taking his victory lap on now. We got one more. Good job, buddy.
Stay strong.
Making it happen, brother.
I guess to come full circle, that's why I asked him to pace me, is because I knew that no matter what was in it for him or if there was anything in it for him at all, he would answer the phone and he'll do the 14 miles. The poured down rain, which was just like, it was kind of laughable, and I thought it was sort of funny. Maybe, you know, it was just because I was so tired, but it was just sort of par for the course, you know. My ankle had been blown up for quite a while. I had gone through my lows and my highs, and I'm like way behind schedule at this point. And then it just starts pouring down rain, and I know this lap is going to take a long time. I've been up for 30 hours on the trail. It was invigorating in the sense that I felt like it was like the opposite of the defeating feeling of lap 6 that I had felt. It was the opposite of feeling sorry for myself. I was like appreciative of all these things that I had overcome. It would rain, but you know, at that point, I don't really care if it rains fire, honestly.
Easy.
Yeah.
Incredible job. Nolen, 100-mile finisher.
All right, man. Proud of you, dude. Come here.
Thank you, brother.
Proud of you. Enjoy your moment with your family and friends. How was it?
Hard. You finished strong? Damn, I didn't even know y'all were here.
Yeah. We just... Damn. We've been here all night.
Yep. Yeah, we've been staying here since you went my last loop.
You're done.
Later, man. Finish strong.
I got some clothes for you.
For anyone watching this, or if you followed along the journey, if you are close to us throughout this process, if you don't listen to anything else that I say, I would say listen to this. The entire point of this whole project was not to send the message that Hunter is fit, Hunter is good at running, Hunter is cool, Hunter is tough, Hunter is disciplined, diligent, or willing to sacrifice any more than anyone else is willing to sacrifice, because none of that is true. In fact, when we started this project, I actually wanted the message to be about the experience and about me as little as possible, because none of those things I just mentioned are actually true. There's nothing special or unique about me that got me to that finish line, and that was the inspiration behind this entire project.
because I think a lot of us have gotten into the habit of selling ourselves so short on our definitions of what is tough, what is possible, what is reasonable, and what ultimately is within our capacities to accomplish. And because I don't want to resign myself to any of those things, I feel compelled to use my experiences to encourage other people to not resign themselves to those things either. And so those things are like not convincing myself that I'm too tired to work on myself after the end of a regular work day, or any of these other things that just dilute our existence and that break our metric for struggle. And I think the more out of practice we allow ourselves to become with being acquainted with things that are difficult, the worse we get with contending with things that are difficult. And then we start to justify or recategorize what we consider to be possibility, and we start to place those things into the, oh, well, I can't do that anymore because I'm not good at that. I'm not young enough to do that. I'm not fit enough to do that. I don't have the time to do that. I'm not the type of person who would be able to do that.
You gotta go back to jiu-jitsu.
The only time that any of those things are true is when you decide to buy into those things. And that's a choice, because every single thing that people close to me consider me to be good at, there are people close to me who are better at those things. So for example, Dalton is way better at jiu-jitsu than I am. Drew is a better runner than I am. He's a better artist, a better musician. He's more articulate than I am. If you were to take one thing away from watching this film, it would be this. I decided to run ultra and involve myself in this so that once I got to the finish line, people could not use the excuse to not be inspired by this whole experience, that I was able to do that just because I'm me. Whether it's running or anything else, I'm going to continue to seek out these experiences. I want to be acquainted with that quitting voice so that I can always be in practice of coming out on the other side of that. It's not that I want people to even become involved in ultra or run 100 miles or to do any of the things that I do. It's because there are things in people's lives that are calling to them to be faced. And we don't want to face those things because we're scared of who we become when those things get harder than we expected them to become. And when you get out of practice with doing that, you start to convince yourself that you can't do these things, and then you resign yourself to all of these silly things that are like 1% of the version of yourself that you could actually be. The way I like to look at this, no matter who you are, there's a version of you that exists in this alternate reality somewhere, but maybe inside of you, that is screaming your name as loud as it can to be let out. But you have to do the work to like let that version of yourself out. Running 100 miles, that's what gets me to the point to where I can let that version of myself out. And now that version of myself is realized. But maybe that version of yourself is losing 100 pounds. Maybe that version of yourself is quitting smoking. Maybe that version of yourself is not drinking or fixing your relationship with your spouse or with your kid or with your coworker or with your boss or with your friends. Maybe that version of yourself is just getting out of bed in the morning. Is that there's something in all of our lives calling us to stand and face it, and we don't want to, and we justify not standing and facing those things because we're so out of practice with what that feels like.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
So I didn't even catch it. You hear me, Dalton?
What? I'm sorry.
My watch died a long time ago. At like mile 90, so I didn't even get to document it.
Sucks.
Yeah.
It doesn't even count if it's not on your...
Well, you know, Courtney went home to get my cord and she didn't bring the right cord.
And like 3 a.m.
Now I'll never have the Garmin image of that. And I'm retired, so that's
rough.
never happened again.
Now you have to do it again.
Yeah.
You were talking 100 miler, you got the 200 miles.
Yeah, in April we're doing 200.
Man, you robbed him of his aura, Courtney.
What was crazy, when we ran, I've never been that tired in my whole life. I woke up after that.
I was falling asleep walking.
Every time we got on that asphalt, I literally would just close my eyes and be like, I know my reflexes will catch me, so I'm just going to take a nap, and I don't think I'm going to fall. And it worked. Like it felt like refreshing.
That back loop or that back straightaway, I was, remember, like in the morning time when the light was starting to come up, that's whenever I was like
it's annoying, honestly annoying. I was crushing till 72 miles. Dude, I felt like $1 million when me and Dalton started running. And when I told you, when I was like call and put Dalton on speaker, dude, I felt like
solid,
fresh, like I had just started running.
You look like Dalton when he wants food.
My legs are not gonna work anymore.
Bless him.
Mommy bite.
Mommy bite.
The strategy I would give people, you don't do a thing until it's hard. You start a thing, and because you know it's going to be hard, that is your justification for why it's worthwhile for you to do. If a thing doesn't get hard, why are you doing the thing? What are you learning about yourself? What version of yourself are you realizing that hasn't already been realized? What version of yourself is realized by coming home, turning the TV on until it's bedtime, waking up the next day, going to work, and you do the same shit forever until you're at the end of your life, and it's like, what was the purpose to any of that?
When people ask you like what happened, you let them know, man, that you went to war with yourself.
Yeah, you got that right.
That's all good.
100 miles teaches me something about myself that I need to learn. And that lesson is, you've put in a lot of work to make your life easy. Don't let it get you soft. I'm not going to be a 50-year-old man telling my kids that I can't do those sorts of things because I'm 50, but I could otherwise. And I'm not going to be the 50-year-old man sitting on the couch saying that, you know, oh, I could run 100 miles if I wanted to. I could be in shape if I wanted to. I could quit smoking if I wanted to. I could quit drinking if I wanted to. I'm going to be the 50-year-old getting on the starting line of all those things to find out.
You just watched someone for the last 2 years do what you knew that they were going to do, and then they did it. And surprise is not the word, you're just proud to be a part of it, to be able to support them, and know that he will never run another 100-mile race again. Hunter owes me an Oreo cream pie.
Is that it? Please be it.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go. It's over. The hard part's over. Oh, God, my leg's asleep. Oh.
Just any story at all, or like...
Your favorite?
Who's the audience for this? I guess that's the question.
Okay, wait, let me think of a funny story. Okay. Truly that night is what comes to mind, and I absolutely could not tell that story.
We've got a lot of memories together, some of which we're going to leave them as just good memories. They are good memories.
All right.
Kimber will watch this.
Okay, yeah.
We don't want any unnecessary trips to 201, so we'll keep those as just good memories. Hunter has had my back.
Okay, let me think.
So this one time, me and Hunter
Oh, well, can I say something funny about him? His cauliflower ear? I'm gonna get into it.
When I was still a blue belt in jiu-jitsu and Hunter was a purple belt, and I was trying to get a bunch of my high school friends to start training jiu-jitsu, and one day I got like 4 of them to come up, and they were just trying out a class, and they were all just sitting on the side, and me and Hunter went to roll with each other. Never before or since have I been taken down the way that Hunter took me down, and he embarrassed me in front of all my friends. Hit the most beautiful fireman's carry ever. I felt like I was just floating. then I just slammed on the mat as hard. I mean, simultaneously I was like proud of him that he did that because it was such a beautiful takedown, and then I was also really embarrassed because all my friends saw it happen to me. But
There is something about Hunter that I find to be very funny. And I think it's important for this documentary. Hunter has cauliflower ear. And if you don't know what that is, well, you must be like the rest of us. The day that Courtney told me about it, I truly was like, leave him, it's time. It's like, what are we even talking about? And then she's like, no, you don't understand, this is the mark of a man. Like, he has done fights so many times, or whatever, in his jiu-jitsu. I don't know, I don't pretend to know, that his ear now looks like a cauliflower. And the craziest part is that Courtney delights in draining said cauliflower ear. And look, I love to pop a good pimple, but what?
We didn't harm anyone in the process of doing these things.
Okay, so I'm Courtney. What am I? I'm Hunter's wife. And, do I have to say my full name?
You can. You can just say Courtney and then say I met Hunter, blah blah. Just start into your story.
Oh, I need to, okay, so.
Start on your love.
Okay. Oh God, I feel the gurgle coming. This is not, didn't think this one through.
Okay. Alright, is it on? Okay.
Actually look at the camera. Just want as much as
I'm trying. I'm gonna try.
Yeah.
Film's done. Cut. I can't. Get this off me. I've always wanted to do that.
You finished your first 100 miler. You did it. It's over. You said you were going to retire. What's next?
Yeah, I don't know about retiring yet. Honestly, I have my eyes on a few things. Either way, it'll be something hard.